What's up, everybody? This is Colby Cheese, and you are watching my newly created class here, the Summoner Witch, that I have recently gotten to about level 66. I was going to make a video earlier, but I realized I wasn't recording, so this is me doing this for a second time. But should be ready to go here. You see me right now, I'm actually in Merciless difficulty and Solaris Temple, and I just basically logged on for the day. So with the Summoner Witch, obviously your summons are a big part of your damage if you're pretty much focused mostly all your damage on your summons, which I have. And so right now I'm going to be killing pretty slow until I'm able to pick up a couple of different mobs from Solaris Temple. Now Solaris Temple has the best specters, and with my particular witch build, I've actually got I can have up to 4 specters at one time, and I'll explain that a little bit later after I've got the specters going. So so starting off with the witch before you get your summons is not terrible. You're just not going to be able to like insta clear stuff like as if you were a ranger or one of those really OP builds. You know, I kind of made this build as like something that was really safe for hardcore league because I died on some of my other characters, and I was like, it probably won't be that fun. I'm just gonna be walking around watching my zombies kill stuff. And I was, you know, that's kind of the only reason I made this was just because I was frustrated with dying, and I was like, screw it, I'm not gonna have fun with the game. I'm just gonna make a character that I can't die on, and it ended up being like literally the most fun character that I've made so far. And so I'm hopefully gonna be able to show you some gameplay here in a second of me clearing through Lunaris, which is one of the harder areas. It's like the highest level zone you can get to without going to maps, and it's very effective. This is probably like my strongest character that I've been able to make, and while at the same time being like the safest. So right now I've actually raised up the Flame Sentinel there, and the Flame Sentinel is the one Spectre that you want over any other Spectre in this game. So you see he's shooting all those fireballs. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. I'm going to pick up all the Flame Sentinels, and then we're going to pick up at Lunaris Temple and show you guys how all this stuff works out. I am currently clearing through Lunaris Temple on my Summoner Witch, and you see right now I've got lots of fireballs flying out all over the place, and that's because I've raised up 4 Spectres from Solaris Temple, the Flame Sentinels, by far the best minions in the game. And the cool thing about Spectres is that you can actually socket them with a lot of support gems that are going to make them considerably stronger than normal. And what I've actually done here is I've socketed my Spectres with greater multiple projectiles and with added lightning damage. And then I usually have faster casting, but in this case, for farming Lunaris Temple 3 and Merciless, I've actually given my Spectres added item rarity. So instead of the faster casting, and they still kill pretty much about just as fast. And also I've got minion damage socketed. So pretty much they just wreck everything. You'll notice like these rares, they go down extremely fast. The cool thing about the Spectres is that they have really long range, so they play really safe, and it's very rare that they actually put themselves in a position to die. And not only that, but they've already got lesser multiple projectiles and fork with their fireballs. So whenever I socket them with GMP, that just multiplies their damage by so much more. Now there's a lot of other Spectres that I can get on my Summoner Witch that are pretty good, but they're just not going to survive as much, and they have like lower range, so it's harder for them to get in there and fight stuff. So like there's some really cool minions that I'll probably show you in a little bit from Lunaris Temple. These little tentacle chicks that shoot out the little fire tentacles that you're probably familiar with if you've been here before. And those are really crazy because they shoot 1 projectile from each one of their tentacles, but whenever I have GMP on them, they'll add 4 projectiles to each tentacle, so they're firing off 10 projectiles each, and it looks awesome. It's like this machine gun of 10 projectiles flying out all over the place. And I've been farming this place for a while. Eventually, like, I'll mess up and one of my Spectres will die, so I'll end up having to raise up one of those tentacle chicks, and I'll use one of those girls for a little bit, and you know, until I run out of Spectres. It takes several runs for me to actually lose all my Spectres. But yeah, once I get down to just the tentacle chicks, I'll probably go back and get some more of these Spectres. But overall, this Summoner Witch has been the easiest class that I've ever played once I got to this level here, oh, there we go. There's I gotta concentrate. There's Cole right there. I don't want to die, so I'm gonna pop my speed flask and just use my skeleton totem. So the cool way to kill this guy is I just use my totem, summon skeletons, and it'll surround him. And then once he kills the skeletons, they explode because I've got minion instability. And he does lots of damage to himself, essentially, because my skeletons have a little over, let's see, 3,500 HP. They explode for 33% of their health, and he hits like an AoE area, and there's like 12 skeletons there, and he's like, blah! And then not only that, but I've got elemental weakness curse on him, and I've got all these dudes firing fireballs in his face. So as you saw, I killed Cole there in just a few seconds. Like, I almost ran straight into him and got hit, but you know, I have this, what I've done is I've actually used alterations on a perpetual Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, or until I got that mod there. So I can now run with about 100% faster. Like, it gives you 70%, but I've got the effect that makes your, you know, all buffs on you a lot better. Oh, I actually lost all my zombies. All right, I need to be careful here. I'm gonna have to raise up some zombies. I completely forgot. Usually Cole will like kill all my zombies. Yeah, he does a lot of damage if he kills the zombies because they have 11,000 health each, and so they'll explode for a giant amount of damage. I'm gonna go ahead and put up some skeletons for my totem here until just to, you know, basically tank for my specters and myself. Cool thing about the way I've done it here is I've got these really long range specters, and I kind of hang back with these guys. And I've got the Discipline aura, which gives them extra energy shield, so that gives them even more survivability. Also, whenever I'm not summoning skeletons from a totem, I've also got a rejuvenation totem, and that I'll throw it down, so just like that. So after I've already summoned a few skeletons, or if I don't think I need to summon skeletons, I'll throw down that rejuve totem, and then I'll just heal up my, you know, any damage that they've taken over the course of time. So it's not too bad. But generally, this place is really terrifying for any of my other characters that I've ever had, because, you know, you run in there and you see a bunch of these tentacle chicks, and they'll just like burn you down really fast. But in my case, I've got like 9 tanky zombies sitting in front, just like taking all the damage for me. And so what I'll do is I'll usually, if I'm running through this place really fast, is I'll use my Quicksilver Flask to run into another area. As soon as I see mobs, I just run right back, and I'll show you that here in a second. As soon as I clear a few of these guys out. But it's really quick to clear through here. Like, I clear stuff really fast, and sometimes my mobs, you know, they've got the added lightning damage, so they'll shock stack stuff and do even more damage. Normally, I don't even really need all this extra damage because they kill so fast in the first place, which is why I've got the item rarity. Okay, so there we go. So I just use a Quicksilver to run out of there. As soon as I see a tentacle chick, I just run away and get behind my skeletons. And I normally don't take any damage on my HP unless I mess up. And so, for the most part, I don't run out of shield. You'll notice I've actually got part of my life reserved, and that's because I recently traded for this wand called the Midnight Bargain, and it gives me an extra specter, extra zombie, and some skeletons at the cost of reserving 30% of my HP, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, I'm not going to use it against like really hard bosses. So like when I fought Piety and killed her, I actually turned it off, or I switched to a different wand so that I would have all my HP, you know, because I've got 3,000 HP, still pretty squishy, and then 1,500 energy shield, so it's not the best, but since I'm able to hide behind my minions, it works out really well. Looks like I'm out of space here. Too much stuff in my inventory, so I'll probably just not pick that up for now. Anyways, as you see, I'm not really in too much danger here. I've just been kind of running through this place. I'm not even running through too fast because I'm like talking right now, but this is normally what I'll do here is I'll just turn on this potion here. Oh, as soon as I see those guys, if you run far enough away from your minions, they will actually teleport to you. So it seems like a lot of times I'll do that, I'll run, and then as soon as I like find enemies, my minions like teleport right on top of me anyways, so they kind of protect me. And so for the most part, you got to be careful about doing stuff like that. Like if I was in a map right now that was like a bunch of dangerous mobs, I probably wouldn't be like sprinting through like that. But I've ran this place so many times that I'm already confident with how much damage I can take from these monsters, and so I'm able to just, you know, throw on all my, you know, put on all the stops, I guess, or whatever you say, and I accidentally run forward there a little bit. So right now, whenever I'm in these passageways and I see a rare mob like that, that's pretty much the only time I use the skeletons. It takes me too long to summon the skeletons when I'm just fighting regular mobs, and I don't even need them really. So So only whenever I'm fighting like mobs that are not dying right away is when I'll summon those skeletons, just kind of tank and make sure that I don't take too much damage from stuff. These guys are really not that scary. But anyways, I just want to show you guys this this summoner build because it's really fun. I'll probably do some more videos, talk about it in more detail. And just because it's a really good character for like running through and farming stuff. You can put on a lot of item rarity without sacrificing a ton of damage. The only damage you need for a summoner is just having specters and then socketing the right support gems for that for that specter to do a lot of damage. So so as long as you have the right sockets, you're not going to be worried about like having a bunch of extra crit or spell damage and all that other stuff that's really expensive to trade for or really hard to find on items in addition to survivability. And so I can basically just stack as much HP or magic find or anything I want and be able to just farm through zones without too much trouble. And for the most part, I played through the entire game and I can solo almost all the content. And the only time I really tried to group up was for the main bosses because, I mean, I probably could have done them alone, but I didn't want to risk it. I am in hardcore and I'm making this character as safe as possible. You know, I really don't want to die because I've died on a few other characters, just some stupid mistakes. And this is the character that I want to stay alive for a really long time. Apparently I have no room for anything here, so I need to probably do something about that. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to town, sell some items, and then I'll show you guys my build on the passive tree, and I'll talk about some of my items and show you some other cool stuff about the summoner. Alright, so I've cleared up some inventory space, back to recording this video here. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the support that I'm doing for my summons and for, as far as my passive tree, what I've decided to do. When I decided to make this character, I tried to look up some ideas from the forums on like different people's guides and stuff for summoners, and a lot of the stuff seemed like it was for softcore, like there was a bunch of like utility nodes. A lot of people didn't have any survivability built into their witch, and I decided to kind of do a little bit of a mix of both worlds so that I could make the best summoner for hardcore that would be very survivable. And so I can talk to you guys about how I kind of set that up. So obviously I've got this wand that reserves my life, but I've got also a lot of life nodes, so I can have up to 3,000, and my items are really not the best. I'm still trying to find rings that have like good health on them and some other items that have HP. So I just recently got here to actually to Merciless, and I've been farming this place since like level 60, and I'm already 66 now. So it's been really not hard at all to do this, whereas most other characters, I probably would never come here until I was like past 70. I mean, I beat Val at like level, like 54 or something like that. So it was, I've been kind of running through pretty quick on this character for the most part, whereas anything else I would not be doing that. Anyways, for my items, let me just kind of show you guys what I've got going on here. I recently picked up a 5-link, and it's not necessary for this build to work, but it is really nice because you're able to socket, something extra. So for example, my item rarity, I normally have the faster casting, which I've actually socketed with my arc. And the arc actually doesn't do a lot of damage. What I did was I picked up static blows on the passive tree so that I would have a higher chance of shocking enemies. And it's essentially me trying to help shock stack enemies so that my minions will do more damage. But this wand is a big part of the build as well. It's got extra summons for me. Also have these boots here, which I actually found. I normally would have traded for them, but I found them. They give you an extra specter and zombie, which is nice. A little bit of move speed. The rest of the stats not great. And what else? Oh, so you also want to have a helm with +2 minion gems, and this is where you put your zombies, because zombies get like an extremely large amount of HP once you start adding levels to them. So I've got a +2 minion helm, and this is a really good helm that I traded for, but I got it fairly cheap as well. The main thing this is not really required because it doesn't give you anything extra as far as like number of minions, but it does make your minions have essentially a passive node on the tree that gives them life, movement speed, and damage. So it's a pretty nice little amulet. Unfortunately, it has no HP or anything like that, so you have to make up for that elsewhere. Right now, those are the main things that make my build work. Nothing else is really like required. All the other stuff is just kind of junk. I just got some gloves that I alked and got decent stats on, and a belt that I found here with some HP on it, and some rings with a little bit of health and some mana on it. I was trying to get as much mana as possible. Right now I'm really low on my resists, but I can run Purity. I'm not really running Purity right now just because I whenever I'm speed running through areas, I'll run Clarity as an aura instead, so I can just keep spamming abilities without having to use my mana potions or wait for mana regen to take effect, which I've got decent mana regen right now. It's just that I don't want to have to wait on it, since I am in a hurry to get through this area and level up as fast as possible. So I'll trade that out. Right now, Clarity uses like a lot. Reserves 270 mana, and that's with the reduced mana gem. But it does give me like massive amount of mana regen. But normally I can run myself a Purity aura. Right now, my main thing to always have on is Discipline. Wrath doesn't cost a lot, so I'll usually use Wrath to give my zombies extra lightning damage. Also, if I summon some skeletons, of course, they're going to have that lightning damage as well. I've also got Anger, which I can socket if I want. I'd have to trade it out right now because of my gear. I'd have to trade out the Rejuve Totem. So if I'm relying on the damage from my skeletons and zombies more than my specters for some reason, like if I'm in a zone and I'm progressing and they killed off all my good specters, then I'll go ahead and toss on Anger, and I'll let my skeletons and everything else do a lot of damage. So that's an option that I've got. And another thing that I'll do is I'll actually, let's see, what else do I have? I guess that's about it for auras, yeah. So I have the Purity just for whenever I need I take it slow and play it safe and stuff like that. And I think that's about it, really. Summoner just comes down to making sure that you manage your minions correctly, always have the max number of zombies up possible, and you can run around and basically allow your summons to kill everything. So I'll just run face first into a bunch of enemies, and then I'll run perpendicular to dodge their projectiles, and my zombies usually catch up. They've got run speed attached to them, so they're really fast. I guess that's another thing I can talk about is the actual gems that I've got socketed with my minions. So with Summoner, you're not going to have a lot of extra gem slots for spells, because if you want the best minions, then you're going to have to socket a lot of gems with each minion type for them to be effective. So let me just go ahead and kill this pack of enemies, and by me, let me watch my minions kill these pack of minions here. Oh, actually I'm losing a lot of zombies. Let me throw up some skeletons. I'll pop my, what I do whenever I'm summoning a lot of zombies is I'll go ahead and use my mana potion, and while it's taking effect, I'll just start spamming my raised zombies, and that'll allow me to keep spamming raised zombie, which costs 140 mana each time, so it makes it not a big deal. But anyways, so for sockets, on the zombies, it's pretty standard. You just do minion life, minion speed, and minion damage, which all get that +2. I've actually got a 20% quality raised zombie that I recently bought, but I'm leveling it in my offset of gear, which I'm not going to switch to because it'll desummon one of my specters. But as for my offset, the interesting thing for my offset is that I actually used a Silver Branch with Poison Arrow to level up all the way up until pretty much Act 3 Merciless, because until you get good enough specters, you're not going to be able to clear stuff very fast, and Poison Arrow is really strong for that. So Poison Arrow made it possible for me to clear through stuff, and I would just like throw down that Poison Arrow in areas while my zombies just tanked things. And the Poison Arrow was the main thing doing damage until I was able to get some really good specters with the GMP and the extra damage and all that good stuff. So for skeletons, you essentially just need a totem with extra life and with extra damage, and that'll pretty much do what you need for the skeletons. You don't even need the extra damage on the skeletons, to be honest, but I do it just because, I mean, I want as much damage as possible when I summon them. The only reason I use skeletons is, one, because I'm fighting a large pack of like rares that are killing my stuff really fast, and I want them to explode. And also, if there's like a really strong boss mob such as Brutus or Cole or Piety or anything like that, that's when you have the summon skeletons, because it just surrounds them and makes it kind of trivial for you. You don't have to worry about them like running all over the place, and that's pretty much all you need to worry about there. Looks like I'm already at the end of this run here. It didn't take me too long to get to the end. And usually when you get to the very end, there's going to be several packs of rares. And that's another reason I like to run this place, is once I get up to Piety's altar here, there's like always like 2 or 3 packs of rares, and I can a lot of times get some good items from coming up this area. So let's go ahead and run up here and look. Oh, there we go. There's one right there. Let's make sure I don't run into them face first, because I actually did have a character before this one that died because of those. I ran into like a champion pack of those those tentacle miscreations. Oh, let me actually show you one of those before I finish this run. Tentacle miscreation. So I'm gonna raise up one of these chicks. Check it out. So whenever she shoots it out, there it is. Brrrah! Look at those tentacles. Blah, brrrah. There's so many. Oh, it's crazy. I love Summoner. It's so fun. There's so many different specters that you can play with, and I'll probably show you some in maybe like another video. But I just wanted to show you like one full run of Lunaris Temple. I probably could have went a lot faster, but you know, it's hard for me to concentrate when I'm talking at the same time. So I just wanted to show off some Summoner gameplay, show you guys like for those of you who didn't know like how strong a Summoner was or didn't really understand the gameplay of one. You know, I just wanted to be able to show you like how good you can be, especially once you get couple of items and get to Merciless and stuff. This is definitely I've spent more money on this character than any other. I would probably be still pretty strong with just 2 Spectres, but I most likely would have to, I'd have to worry about using some more damage skills of my own. Maybe I'd have to invest more sockets into like a damaging spell and less into auras or something like that, and that way, because the Spectres are the main thing doing damage here. So anyways, that's pretty much a good stopping point for this video. Right after I show you my passive tree real quick, and I'll put a link into the description below, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain what I've done. For my tree, I've actually started here. I've gotten a lot of the mana regen nodes because it's very mana intensive to, you know, cast these 200 mana spells to raise up your minions. I skipped this node right here for the additional minions because I didn't really need any more skeletons and zombies, and that was too much point cost in my opinion. What I've done though is I've gotten pretty much all the health nodes that are close by that I can pick up, and that way I have as much survivability as possible. And the interesting thing is what I did when I started, like when I first started leveling, is I went this direction here so that I can pick up the minion instability as fast as possible. And then once I got late game and I had enough respec points, I unspec'd all of these nodes right here, and I went this direction because it's less node cost and more efficiency, because I'm trying to pick up this stuff around here. And even though I pick up a bunch of like essentially worthless nodes, you would say right here, since I don't have anything attached to these, it's still less cost than going this direction here and getting some like strength nodes that I don't need. Now technically I can go down and get these minions if I wanted to, but for now I'm just going to keep it like this. And essentially I am working towards probably either getting Body and Soul. I could, if I wanted to, go for the X-Master and Whispers of Doom. So there's a lot of different options for me. There's a lot of utility slots. I recently picked up the Inner Force so I can have the more effect on buffs. So anyways guys, this is pretty much it for this video. If you want to see some more stuff about my Summoner Witch, or if you want me to talk about my other builds and stuff like that, I can definitely do that. I'll see you around for the next video. Make sure you subscribe. I've got a lot more videos coming for you, as well as more that I've already done. This is Colby Cheese. Peace out. Oh my god, I think I got stuck on the tribal chest.